Welcome to a fresh episode of the program Last Week in Nigeria. My name is Emmanuel Oriowo, and what we do on this program is to bring you headlines of stories being reported by national dailies last week in Nigerians, for Nigerians, of course, globally, to connect the dots of what's going on back home in Nigeria. So let's begin this way. The Vanguard newspaper has this one on the state of the nation. State of the nation. TINUBU must restructure Nigeria now, or Nigeria goes under. That was the statement credited to a leader of NADECO in person of Okpadoku. The Nation newspaper has this one, and it has to do with the strike and protest of the NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress, as reported last week in Nigeria. And this is how the Nation newspaper captions it. NLC planned protests, contempt of court. We're speaking here. The Attorney General of the Federation is passing the comment that if they should observe this protest, that will amount to contempt of court. Oyebanji absolves TINUBU of all the blames that he's getting. Of course, the administration is just barely 9 months old, and the Ekiti State Governor here, Biodun Oyebanji, is speaking to clear the air that no blames should go to Mr. President. That was reported last week in Nigeria. Economy will get better. We're speaking. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed TINUBU, is assuring Nigerians that things will definitely get better, considering the fact that he's just 9 months old in the saddle. So he's giving the hope from the renewed hope mantra to Nigerians. Economists dissect problems in Nigeria and profiling solution. That was also reported last week. A lot of economists are coming together, putting their heads together to think of how we can get out of this quagmire that we found ourselves in Nigeria. How 10 trillion naira intervention fund by previous administrations in Nigeria damaged our economy. That's a statement credited to the CBN Governor, Cardoso. Cardoso, CBN Governor, raises benchmark interest rate to 22.75%. Forensic analysis fingers $2.4 billion FX claims. The Daily Sun newspaper has this one concerning the strike and protest action by the NLC, and it captions it this way. No more late night meetings. What does that mean? The Nigerian Labour Congress is saying we will not be having late night meetings in terms of dialoguing with the government. That is, for every dialogue they want to have with the government, no more late night meetings. What are the factors responsible for that? Well, it's best known to the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, for saying that no more late night meetings for us, because we understand that some of these meetings, they go on into the wee hours of the night. Perhaps the Nigerian Labour Congress is no more comfortable with this trend of having late night meetings. That was reported by the Daily Sun newspaper last week in Nigeria. This Day newspaper and Daily Sun has this one captioned this way. TINUBU rallies Dangote, Elumelu and other big boys in the country as regards solution towards our economic woes, and other stakeholders to help us forge ahead on this particular situation that we find ourselves. Set up tripartite economic recovery committee. Learn from President of Argentina, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, is saying that take a lesson from the President of Argentina. Set up a tripartite economic recovery advisory committee so that we can have a way or a solution to our problems. The Guardian newspaper has this one, and it has to do with MPC. MPC's decision concerns for OPS as CBN moves against inflation, Naira speculators. The Punch newspaper on the NLC protest captions it this way. Presidency, police issue fresh warnings as 65 groups pull out. Don't disrupt commercial activities, vehicular movement, as CP tells protesters. Do not disrupt the flow of vehicular movement and, of course, people going about their legitimate business in the name of protest. That was reported last week in Nigeria by the Punch newspaper. The Daily Times newspaper, our president is still speaking to Nigerians that your perseverance and your patience will definitely yield fruitful results. In other words, he's saying it will not go in vain. Nigerians, just try to understand with me. I appreciate your patience, and I'm saying it won't go in vain. That's a promise by the president. The Daily Courier has this one on insecurity. Troops neutralizes scores of terrorists, rescue 8 kidnapped victims in Zamfara. Troops reject 1.5 million naira bribe from cattle rustlers in Plateau State. All of that was reported by the Daily Courier last week in Nigeria. And of course, we'll take a trip to Ondo State, where the new governor there, Ayedatiwa, talking about Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa, where he said, no vacancy and I'm not going to run one-year governor. In other words, he declared his ambition that he will be vying for that seat again in the November 2024 election coming up soon. Ayedatiwa declares Guba ambition, says, I can't be a one-year governor. He means business. The Daily Sun newspaper, we have this one. It says, NAS considers conduct of all elections same day mulls racial changes to electoral laws to address confusion over electronic voting and transmission of results electronically. The Vanguard newspaper, we have this one that has to do with labor, people working. This time around, we have it captioned this way: job losses as factory closures loom as unsold goods pile up in different manufacturers' warehouse. That's a statement credited to MAN, that is the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Naira plunges 254% in 8 months. Existence of MEMEs further threatened. CBN should adopt managed flotation of Naira. That was reported by the Vanguard newspaper last week in Nigeria. Sweet crude, we have this one. Oil and gas sector adds 4.7 to Nigeria's GDP in Q4 of 2023. That was reported by the Sweet crude as regard our place of oil. The Guardian newspaper on the forex crisis has this one: Nigeria falling out of top 4 African countries and biggest economies on weak currency. This is attributed to the free fall of our Naira, as reported by the Guardian newspaper. Nigeria spends about 50% of oil earnings on production costs. That was reported by the Guardian newspaper last week in Nigeria. And this one says, from the national economy, customs duty rates, vehicle clearance costs rises by 235% in 8 months. In other words, for every vehicle you want to clear today in Nigeria, you'll be spending millions of naira, irrespective of the year. You'll be running into millions to clear a vehicle. 235% increase, that's alarming. And for some sporting gist, we have this one for you. Coming from the coach of the Nigeria Super Eagles, Jose Pesiro, he's saying, I know how to manage pressure from 200 million Nigerians. Jose Pesiro, the coach of Super Eagles, they're speaking. And that was reported last week in Nigeria for the sporting gist that we have for you today. And this one says, Boboye eyes Sunshine Stars turn around in this new league. Don't forget, he just got their deal to manage the club, the Sunshine FC, and he's saying that he's courageous, that he will be having a turnaround story for the Sunshine Football Club of Nigeria, domiciled in Ondo State. Osimhen is being tipped to salvage Napoli this season. Talking about our superstar in football, Super Eagles player, he's been tipped as the one that will salvage the situation of Napoli in this season. On Guinness World Record, you recall that recently so many athons have been recorded. We had the cookathon, we had the singathon, and now somebody is saying, an African Nigerian lady is saying that she'll be going for the longest interview session. So we'll be having an interview-a-thon for the Guinness World Record. We hope and wish her the best. That's it. On a lighter note for the entertainment gist that I have for you, and I'm sure it's going to gladden and interest so many people. They'll be looking forward to see what that session will look like for a Nigerian African lady saying that she'll be dropping a record very soon of having the longest interview session. That's about the size of it for this episode. We appreciate you for sharing your quality time with us on this program. Don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and not forgetting Twitter. All you need to do is use our handle at Last Week in Nigeria, and you'll be all connected to our previous episodes and the ones coming ahead. And also, this is to tell you that the live session that we promised will be coming for the first quarter as we review all the stories that have made headlines in the first quarter of this year, 2024. We'll be coming up live and we'll keep you posted as to what that date is going to be so that you can clear your calendar to join us live and get to interact with us on this particular program at Last Week in Nigeria. On behalf of the entire production from here, my name is Emmanuel Oriowo. Many thanks for watching. Kindly join me again next week for a fresh episode of the program. You can also reach us on our YouTube channel. Share, like, comment, and turn on the notification bell for you to get notification about the subsequent episodes. Thank you for being there once again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.